Coming to the economic situation in India, of course there are great expectations. You saw the stock market yesterday shooting up. But India does have a huge amount of government debt. I think 77% of GDP, among the highest in the world, is public sector debt. Plus the fiscal deficit is very high, 10% of GDP now. Is there going to be some divestment or privatization to pay back that debt, or are you going to raise taxes? Because that money, that debt has to be reduced and the fiscal deficit has... So will there be privatization and liberalization on that front?
You know, so far the debt management is concerned, we have passed the FRBM Act.
Yes.
And this year we had to make a deviation because the whole world has done.
Yes, you had to give stimulus.
To just stimulus and to balance the adverse impact of the financial crisis and economic meltdown. So this year was an exceptional year. But up to 2007-8, if you look at the percentage of revenue deficit and percentage of fiscal deficit has been
about 6%, yes,
has
much
been
better.
Substantially reduced. What I am worried of that the government deficit, revenue deficit should be brought back to zero as fast as possible.
Right.
That approach we shall have to take, and various strategies we will have to do.
For example,
and this is the most challenging task to the new finance minister when he places the full-fledged budget for the year. Because
when you place the full-fledged budget,
I don't know who will place, but anyway, let us not go to who. But he will have to do, whoever places the budget, full budget, he will have to take into account that industry requires investment, liberalized credit policy. Credit policy has been liberalized, but banks are little shy of investment because of the uncertainty prevailing. As you have given an example, this sudden rocketing up of stock market is a little bit reflection of the high expectation of the people.
Correct.
Therefore, but these are not real. These are in somebody's imaginations. Keeping that in view, what I do feel we can adjust. Because Indian economy, basic fundamentals when we talk of are very strong. Those are not mere phrases or euphemism.
Right.
That has withstood us well. If you look at, yes, even if I assume that growth may not be more than 6.5% or around 6%, coming down from 9%, but when the whole of North America or Europe is almost crashing, including Japan, Asian tigers, except China and India.
You're saying you had just mentioned there will be more liberalization.
We have the scope. We have the scope, but in exact what form, to what extent, but at the same time, we cannot give up the fiscal discipline to the wind. That aspect is to be kept in view.
So will there be another stimulus? Because people say that industrial growth, industrial output, for example, is negative now.
Manufacturing sector's growth has been negative and it is disturbing. So a very critical look into every aspect is needed, and that will be the major task of the finance.
Right, but you did actually recognize that manufacturing needs some help. You feel something needs to be done for Indian industry.
We shall have to do for those sectors which require the necessary support and policy initiatives, including the other measures which are called for. But details are very difficult to spell out right now.
That will happen when you go across the road. North Block.
I don't know.